Ever been backstabbed and thought about giving the person another shot, hoping they'd turn a new leaf or make things right? You're definitely not riding solo on that one. The big question always seems to be whether to let bygones be bygones or to just move on. But hey, what if I told you there's another path? One that's not about being gullible or holding on to grudges, but about being smart and upright. Enter Stoicism, this ancient wisdom that's all about living with guts, control, fairness, and smarts. The Stoic squad teaches us to zoom in on what's in our hands, our actions, our mindset, right here, right now. Forget trying to puppeteer other people's actions or dwelling on yesterday's news. So when it comes to dealing with folks who've done you dirty, should we open the door for round 2? Stoicism drops some solid advice on this, laying out why sometimes not giving second chances can be the way to go. But first, I would like to ask you to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you don't miss the next video. Lesson 1. Keep your cool to see clearly. Alright, let's get real about not letting our feelings run the show, especially when it comes to giving folks a second chance. You know how it is, someone messes up and bam, you're hit with all these feels. Anger, disappointment, maybe even wanting a little payback. It's like your emotions just hijacked your brain, right? Here's the deal. Those Stoic dudes from way back when, like good old Epictetus, were onto something. They're like, cool your jets and take a sec before you let those feelings drive you into crazy town. Imagine your emotions as that one friend who always jumps to conclusions. You gotta tell them, hold up, let's think this through. First step, recognize your feels without going all judgy on yourself. It's okay to feel stuff. But then, get a little detective-like about it. Ask yourself, are these emotions blowing things out of proportion? What's really going on here? This helps you not to make snap decisions that you might regret later. Think about what you're really aiming for and how to stay true to what matters to you. Sometimes you gotta take a breather, maybe go for a run, or chat with someone who can give you the lowdown without all the drama. Don't forget, it's not just about you. Trying to see things from the other person's angle can clear up a lot of messes before they get worse. Dear viewers, your opinion is really important to us. Share it in the comments if you have any questions, or just write helpful video so we know what you find interesting. Lesson 2. Forgiving isn't the same as going back. Alright, lesson number 2 is all about not getting forgiveness and making up all tangled up. Here's the skinny. Forgiving someone is like decluttering your mental closet. It's about ditching those heavy bags of anger or thoughts of getting even with someone who's done you dirty. This is all for you, to keep your peace and not let bitterness turn your brain into a storm cloud. The Stoics, like our buddy Seneca, were big on this. They're like, chill for a sec before you react. It's about giving yourself a moment to step back, breathe, and not let anger set up shop in your head. But here's where it gets real. Just because you forgive someone doesn't mean you have to go back to being BFFs or anything. Reconciliation is a whole other ballgame. It's about rebuilding trust and fixing what got busted in your relationship. This isn't a solo mission. It takes two to tango, with both sides needing to put in the work, be honest, and maybe even say a genuine "my bad." But let's be honest, sometimes making up isn't in the cards. If the other person isn't showing any signs of changing their tune or keeps crossing lines, then it might be best to keep your distance. Forgiving doesn't mean you forget or let someone keep hurting you. It's about being smart with your boundaries and knowing when it's time to move on, for your own sake. So, when you're thinking about if you want to try and fix things, ask yourself the tough questions. Was this a one-time screw-up or a preview of what's to come? Are they really sorry, or just sorry they got caught? Trust your gut. If the idea of going back to how things were gives you more stress than relief, it might be a sign to let go and move forward, with or without them. Bottom line, forgiving is your power move. Doing it sets you free. And choosing whether to reconcile, that's about protecting your peace and making sure your relationships are the kind that build you up, not tear you down. Dear viewers, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and if you have any questions, ask them in the comments. Lesson 3. Don't bend your rules. Lesson 3 is all about sticking to your guns, even when it's tempting to bend your rules a bit to make life easier or to avoid rocking the boat. The Stoics were big on this. They believed that living a good life means not just talking the talk about being wise, brave, disciplined, and fair, but also walking the walk, even when it's super tough. Imagine you're in a situation where someone's rubbing you the wrong way, and you're tempted to just let things slide, to make excuses for them, to ignore the stuff that bugs you, or to go against what you believe in just to keep the peace. It might seem like no big deal at the time, but little by little, it chips away at who you are and what you stand for. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic heavyweight, was all about keeping your integrity and self-respect intact. He's like, don't do anything that'll make you look in the mirror and feel like you don't know who's staring back. Here's the kicker. Sticking to your values isn't about being stubborn or refusing to change. It's about knowing the difference between what's negotiable and what's non-negotiable. It's okay to pick your battles and to be flexible on the small stuff, but when it comes to the big values, the ones that define you, you've got to stand firm, even if it means swimming against the current. Doing this takes guts. You might get some side-eye or even feel like you're going it alone sometimes, but the respect you keep for yourself and the strength you build by living true to your principles is worth way more than the temporary discomfort of sticking out. Keeping true to your values means doing a regular gut check. Are your actions lining up with what you believe in? It also means surrounding yourself with folks who get it, who share your values and will back you up when the going gets tough. So remember, the real win isn't about getting ahead at any cost. It's about holding on to your integrity, respecting yourself, and making choices that you can stand by. In the end, that's what leads to a life that's not just successful on the outside, but deeply fulfilling on the inside. Lesson 4. Appreciate folks for who they are. Lesson 4 is a biggie. Don't hang your hat on the hope that people will change. The Stoics were all about keeping it real, seeing things and folks for what they are, not what we wish they'd be. It's like expecting a cat to bark. It's just setting yourself up for a letdown. We've all been there, right? You're thinking, if only they'd change this one thing, everything would be perfect. But the truth is, folks usually stick to their script. It's not about being pessimistic, it's about not setting yourself up for a fall. The Stoics remind us that trying to mold someone into your ideal version is a dead-end street. People have their own will, their own paths, and honestly, it's not our job to reroute them. This isn't saying people can't change, they can. But that change has to come from within, on their own terms, not because we want it. And there's a big difference between someone tweaking a few habits and overhauling their core being. Expecting the latter is like trying to teach a fish to climb a tree. It's just not happening. So when you're thinking of giving someone another shot, don't base it on the bet that they'll turn a new leaf. Accept them as they are, warts and all. This doesn't mean you lower your standards or let anyone walk all over you. It means you set clear boundaries and communicate what you're cool with and what you're not. And here's where it gets grown up. Sometimes, you've got to make tough calls. If a relationship is more draining than a busted dam, it might be time to reassess or walk away. Not out of malice, but because respecting yourself and your well-being is top priority. In sum, not expecting people to change is about accepting the reality of who they are. It frees you from the disappointment merry-go-round and helps you build healthier, more genuine connections. It's about focusing on what you can control, your actions, your reactions, and how you set your boundaries. Keep it real, keep it respectful, and keep your peace of mind intact. Friends, we strive to create unique content for you, for which we would like to ask you to support our channel by liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and we also recommend watching our other videos. Lesson 5. Learn to say nope. Lesson 5 is a game changer. Learning to say no is like having a superpower. The Stoics were all about self-reliance, simplicity, and keeping life uncomplicated. They knew that chasing after every desire or trying to please everyone is a fast track to chaos, not happiness. Here's the thing. Saying yes when you really want to say no is like wearing shoes that don't fit. Sure, you can walk around in them, but at what cost? Whether it's giving someone another chance or taking on more than you can handle, saying no is often the healthier choice. It's not about being mean or selfish. It's about being real with what you can and can't, or don't want to do. We often hesitate to say no because we're scared. Scared of missing out, of being seen as cold, or of rocking the boat. But Epictetus hit the nail on the head. It's not the situation itself, but how we view it that gets us twisted up. If you see saying no as a negative, that's how it'll feel. But if you see it as a way to honor your limits and respect your own needs, it becomes a positive, empowering choice. Saying no doesn't make you a bad person. It makes you an honest one. It's telling the world, this is who I am and this is what I need. It's about not stretching yourself so thin that there's nothing left for you. Plus, being clear about your no's makes your yeses even more meaningful. It's also a kindness to others. Instead of half-hearted commitments or resentful participation, saying no frees you to engage where you truly feel called to, with your whole heart. It helps others understand where you stand and respects their ability to handle the truth. Of course, flexing your no muscle can be tough. It takes guts and a thick skin to deal with potential fallout. But like any skill, it gets easier with practice. And being clear and respectful when you do it can soften the blow. It's about balancing honesty with compassion, saying no without slamming the door on someone's face. In short, mastering the art of saying no is about living authentically, protecting your space and energy, and making room for what truly enriches your life. It's a testament to your strength and commitment to living on your own terms. So embrace your no's. They're not just rejections, they're affirmations of your values, your priorities, and, ultimately, your own well-being. Lesson 6. Repeating the same mistakes. Lesson 6 hits on something super important. Don't sleep on the lessons history has handed us. The Stoics were like the OG students of life, believing that both our personal backstories and the big wide world's history have tons to teach us. They saw life as this giant loop, where the same kinds of things keep happening over and over again. If we're not sharp, we're doomed to rerun the same mistakes, like being stuck on a bad movie sequel that never ends. Think about it. Ever had déjà vu in your dealings with someone? Like, here we go again. That's what we're talking about. Reflecting on past dealings can shine a light on whether giving someone another shot is wise or just setting yourself up for a rerun of heartache. It's like, if touching a hot stove burned you once, why would you want to do it again? Seneca, a Stoic heavyweight, basically said, getting fooled once is bad luck, but getting fooled again is on you. It's a wake-up call to stop, look, and learn from what went down before. This isn't just about dodging the bad stuff, though. It's also about remembering what rocked and trying to get more of that good stuff in your life. But here's where it gets real. As you grow and change, what used to fly with you might not anymore. That's cool. It's all part of leveling up in life. Paying attention to how you've changed can help you make decisions that fit who you are now, not just who you were back in the day. And don't forget, we can learn heaps from other people's stories too. History, books, the wins and face plants of folks we know. They're all gold mines of wisdom if we're willing to dig in. It's about seeing the bigger picture and using that to navigate life a bit more smoothly. In a nutshell, not forgetting the past's lessons is key to not just surviving, but thriving. It's about taking a good, hard look at your own experiences, plus all the collective wisdom out there, and using it to make smarter choices today. By doing this, you're not just going through life, you're growing through life, getting wiser, and hopefully, a whole lot happier. Watch more of our content, subscribe to the channel. May the force be with us.